Welcome to Honoring the Honorable, a podcast of Seven Oaks Classical School where I, your host, Dr. Shipp, interview members of our school community. Join us as we talk about the work we do with those who do it. The contributions vary, but each is worthy of honor. Well, welcome to another episode of Honoring the Honorable. I'm here with two seniors. Goodness, soon to be graduates.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
You want to go first?
Okay. Hi, my name is Dylan Dix, and
I'm Bridget Boyd. Yeah.
Very good. And our topic today is the student council. There was a time just here recently where I was actually trying to set myself to write a list of new things. I think I'm going to mention this on the podcast.
Yes.
One of the new things from the year is the student council. So last year we launched a middle school house system, and I think a lot of people wondered, and I think we were wondering, like, okay, do we extend this up into the high school, or does the high school have their own thing? And somehow we came to have a student council. So let's try to introduce our listeners to the work of the student council.
We probably should start too, where, a course of action here, just sort of seeing that these two would not even recognize themselves as the president and the vice president.
Yes.
So this says a lot about the student council right off the bat.
I got a little ahead of myself. That's right. So introduce yourselves again with your title on the council.
okay. Hi, my name is Dylan Dix. I am the current president of the student council.
And I'm Bridget Boyd. I'm the current vice president of the student council.
All right, so let it be established you are the ones that we should be talking to right now.
The due political power here is you got to make sure you recognize them.
Wow. All right, so let's talk origin story. From your perspective, how you guys have had front row seats in the evolution or the launch of the student council. How did this come to be? How do we get to be sitting here right now talking on a podcast about the student council?
So it started last year with the culture building council that you launched with February Freeze. Initially I joined it because I was like, well, I don't think I can really, I didn't think I could meet the challenge's goals, but I wanted to try, and I wanted to, because cutting down on screen time and spending my time doing more worthwhile things is something that I've been trying to work on for a long time. So I did end up cutting my screen time down by 80%.
Okay.
Wow.
It was
True confession time now.
So,
Wow.
yeah, go ahead.
And then whenever you kind of invited everyone who had participated in February Freeze, who felt that they had accomplished what they set out to accomplish, and talked to us about the goal of building a culture and a community at the school, I was like, this is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should help listeners kind of appreciate that.
Our crazy thinking about what we should do to build leadership.
Yeah, so I know Mr. Battaglia and I think a lot about, okay, how do we help to nurture, healthy student culture, and sometimes we're just impulsive, and I think this was a moment of impulsivity. I mean, February Freeze, there's the same first letter, so that's kind of catchy, but I don't know, somehow we just had the idea of, well, why don't we try this? The junior class is a really cool class. They show a lot of promise. They seem to care about the school. There's a lot of students there with depth of soul. Let's just see what happens.
Yes.
So we put out the challenge. I forget the exact parameters. It was something like limit your screen time to, what do we say?
It was an hour per day.
An hour a day.
Not after
and
10 o'clock.
Not after 10 o'clock.
That's it. Yeah. And so we just said, hey, I think we paired it with kind of the replacement idea. Well, what if we use some of the time that we reclaim for thinking together about how to build school culture? And let's see. There were a couple of ideas that even came out of that.
Yeah. I think there was a doc started for us too, but one of the main ones is the pen pal that's going on right now.
Yeah, so that was conceived last year and then became one of the early projects of the student council this year. So you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I think we kind of did that and we thought, oh, this is kind of fun. And then we thought, oh, maybe this would be a nice little seed bed for a student council. And then that kind of worked well because one of the questions for the student council is like, okay, we want to get this thing launched quickly this year. How do we do it? Maybe the initial slate of officers can come out of the February group. I think that's where we started, wasn't it?
I wasn't at all expecting to form like a formal student council from that. But I was like pleasantly surprised when we came back. I thought we were just going to keep doing what we had been doing with the Culture Building Council. And whenever we came back to school, you guys came in and like pulled everybody who was on the original like council aside and were like, here's the plan. So I think that did work out very well though.
I should say we too were in the same boat. Obviously we came at the beginning of the year, but we were thinking at the end of last year, well, so what do we do with this group of students now? And then it was like, okay, well, we've kind of seen them as a council. We kind of like launched ideas off of them that we think about, okay, student culture. And then we began working on just, forming a constitution, getting what would this look like, Yeah,
I know Mr. Battaglia did some legwork and kind of contacted another school or two just to see how they approach the student council and kind of gave us some ideas toward our first draft constitution. We started a student council. I think it might be worth sharing with the listeners kind of the opening statement of the Constitution. Would it seem too laborious if I...
No.
I actually did print it. I've made myself out to be very impulsive, and there's a lot of truth to that, more than I care to admit. But in this case, I did at least print this. I think the Constitution is a really beautiful opening statement, but I'd like to get you guys to respond to it if you have a follow-up thought. It reads this way: the purpose of the Seven Oaks Classical School Student Council is to provide opportunities to students to aid in the advancement of the school's mission by working toward a culture of intellectual and moral growth, friendship, and service. To that end, the school establishes the following constitution for the Seven Oaks Student Council. What do you guys think about that mission statement?
I think that pretty much sums up student council that we've been trying to work for so far.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be helpful to our listeners if we actually began to give some examples. So talk to me about the year. What has student council done that kind of is consistent with these goals of advancing the school's mission, moral and intellectual growth, friendship, service? What have you guys been up to?
So we did formally launch the Pen Pal program, which is still going on.
Which does what? Maybe Brittany should talk about this.
Okay, so the Pen Pal program was started this year, and one of our friends, Amaya Bullhorse, is actually the chair of it, and she's doing amazing. But
also a senior this year?
Yes, also a senior. But the idea behind it was to write letters to second graders and fifth graders from the upperclassmen. In this way, we would be able to talk to them about how we connect through school or other activities that we like to do. And it's really interesting to get to hear from the little kids that, oh, they want to be part of this that I'm part of. Like, I talked to one second grader, and his favorite subject was math. And I'm on the math team every year that it started. And I asked him if he would want to do competitions, and he's like, yeah, I would love to do that when I'm older.
Oh, that's beautiful. So when you say you talk to him, you mean through
the letters?
Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So how many would you say you personally have exchanged?
So far, it's been 2 apiece.
Okay.
And
That's
we're
really
working
great.
on this semester's.
Good. Mm-hmm. Now, I imagine somebody listening might say, well, okay, that seems kind of random. Why? Sounds beautiful, but why second and fifth grade? I don't know. Do you want to... I don't know if you have a thought about that.
I don't remember the specific reason for those grades.
I remember second grade being because it's the grade after they start learning how to write letters formally.
And I think we said second grade also has a unit on actually the letter writing as a form.
Yeah.
I think it had something to do with their curriculums, like the letter writing.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was for fifth grade, though.
But obviously, we had to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Probably don't have enough people to go around in the upper school to write across the entire grammar school.
No. It's
one thing I was just going to say, I'd jump in here and say one thing I loved about the Pen Pal program was initiated by student council, and it was fun to see. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but just how many students wanted to come to the informational meeting
that was
and get involved, and students that I would
cool.
think like, think you're interested in this sort of endeavor, but I'm glad you're here, and
Yeah.
we'll make do with what we can in terms of your commitment and things like that. So that was really great to see.
Yeah. Don't you guys have some kind of culminating moment for this first year of the Pen Pal program?
Yeah.
Yes,
that's in the works?
so we have a pancake breakfast planned for Pen Pal
That's so cool.
next month. So we'll be inviting all of the upper schoolers who are doing Pen Pal and all of the younger kids who are doing Pen Pal to come in and have some pancakes and have a good time.
I confess I'm old enough now that it's hard for me to put myself confidently back in my second grade or fifth grade self, but I'm pretty confident that I would have thought that was something incredibly exciting that I would have been looking forward to eagerly as a second or a fifth grader.
Yes, we're very excited about
That's
it.
good.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you on your side too. Well, what else? What else has the student council tackled this year?
We've been planning a lot of the school dances and movie nights to try and just like bring student voices more into the events that they attend. Also, one of the more significant things that we've done is currently going on the Bridging the Gap committee that we
tell
have.
us about that.
Basically, Bridging the Gap refers to like kind of trying to eliminate the separation in between the sections of the school, the upper school, the middle school, and the grammar school, by having all of the kids interact more. So every grade gets like one event with the seniors in the upper school. I think we have a couple left.
Yeah,
Which ones?
we have kindergarten and first.
Okay.
Yes.
So give us a couple of examples. As I recall, I think these activities are ones that in some way were also kind of inspired by the curriculum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the last one that we did was with the second graders, and it was the Oregon Trail. That sounds bad. Anyway.
Only if you get dysentery.
Yeah. I think a few kids did get that card. Joseph, he made cards that were either calamity or good luck cards.
Another senior.
Yes, another senior.
Yeah.
And we had the event at the upper playground. We had like an obstacle course kind of. So there was running, there was target, there was a lot of different things. And basically after each event that your group accomplished, you would get a card. And you don't know whether it's a calamity or a good luck card. It's just random. And at the end, you would count up the cards, and whoever had the most good luck cards won.
Okay. So I should say, it is actually a fact that the second grade had just finished studying westward expansion, including the Oregon Trail.
Very good.
So they had... There was context for this. And I can also say as a dad, I have a second grader. My second grader was so excited and just had a blast. So allow me here publicly to express my thanks again to the seniors who put this on.
Did did she end up getting dysentery, or what was
She
her?
did not report dysentery, yeah.
Did her ox get drowned in the river?
Did she tell you about the lesson that was given at the end?
Oh, gosh.
I did hear about the lesson. Something to the effect of life isn't always fair.
Yeah.
Life's not fair. Success is based on luck. You just have to persevere.
It's only halfway based on luck.
It's only halfway based on luck.
Okay.
It's a little bit of each.
All right. Are there any other programs that the student council's turned its attention to this year that you want to share, just to give people a picture into kind of a window into your work?
I mean, we've discussed one that we have not launched, and I'm kind of...
Sneak peek for
Okay,
our
so I
listeners.
was going to go there.
Yeah. So-
what have you got cooking?
kind of hope to see this one next year, even though I won't be here. But there is an 11th grade representative, Shishi,
Okay.
and she thought of this tutoring program.
I was hoping that's what
Yes,
you're talking about.
which I absolutely love. It would be after school. Students in higher grades could help tutor younger students. And I think it was also to help fundraise a little bit, but the prices would be like super cheap compared
So like
to
below market rate tutoring.
Yeah.
And the money would go into what?
into the council so that we can host more events like
I
the
see.
Pen Pal breakfast.
So just feed right back into
Yeah.
building the school community.
Yeah.
That's a really beautiful vision.
Yeah.
Mentioning Cece reminds me we should probably mention the other officers. So you're the president,
Yes.
Yeah.
vice president. What are the other offices in the council?
So there is parliamentarian,
Okay.
which is Joseph.
Just helping get
Yes.
people get used to proper procedure.
Yes.
Are you used to it yet?
He
Little.
was at the beginning of the year. We were talking about like Robert's Rules of Order, and he was so pumped up. It was so funny. He was really, really excited.
Oh, that's funny.
And then we have Amaya, who we've also mentioned. She is the secretary.
Okay.
And then
So she keeps the minutes.
yeah, she keeps
Okay.
the minutes. And then Cece is the
treasurer.
Which, I mean, this actually is worth mentioning. You're trying to figure out. I mean, there's a lot you guys, I suspect, would say you're learning. You're running
Oh, yeah.
meetings.
Yes,
You're keeping
yes.
minutes. You're managing money. You're planning events. Has any of that come as a surprise?
I mean, it's a little different. I was on a council at my old school. I think this one is way more organized, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has a lot more student involvement than the one that I was in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
What about the representatives?
Yeah. Tell us about that.
yes. So each grade in the high school has 2 representatives
Chosen by that grade.
chosen by that grade. Yes,
Okay.
they were voted in.
So I do want to look a little bit to the future. So everything new, there's inevitably things that you're learning. You
yes.
gave us a little sneak peek of a possible future project, but just as leaders of council right now who are not too far from kind of handing over the reins, when you think about the future of student council, what do you hope for? I mean, I thought, Bridget, something you already said was really beautiful, that you've got this thing you're excited about, you realize you won't be here, but you're clearly still really passionate about it. What is your hope for the future of the student council?
I really hope that it continues to grow.
Yeah.
A lot of what I've been trying to do this year is just making sure that the council next year will have like the funds and the procedures and the knowledge that they'll need to go even further than we did this year.
Yeah.
And so I just really like to see it become like something that students are really excited about.
Yeah. So when you say grow, you mean like grow in the sense of like involving more and more high schoolers, and then by extension, I assume, because of like things like bridging the gap, ultimately growing in its impact on the rest of the student body as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I just really want to see the passion for it in the
Yeah.
other students. I think we're getting there, but it's been an uphill battle.
It has been, yes.
I'm sure plenty of people are saying, oh, what is this thing?
Yeah.
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 I've appreciated how you guys have also thought about like even, and maybe this is a future thing as well, but even nuancing things. So things that we've already doing and seeing how we can continue to enhance them. So one thing that comes to mind is like with the winter formal dance that student council taken on was like one thing that I appreciated, Dylan, about you pushing was like, okay, you can have an entry ticket or you can donate a local toy for a particular, I think it was the IU health like toy drive or something like that, where again something we weren't necessarily thinking about, but something that I think was very good service in the sense that an event that we had that you're always thinking about. So I think because we're on the sense of talking about future things, you guys should know you really laid some seeds for others to really kind of take forward and move in that direction. Yeah. So.
Is there anything that you think people think about the student council that, or maybe that you wish people knew about the council, or that you kind of get the sense people think they know about the student council that doesn't feel quite reflective to you?
Yeah.
This is one of those opportunities, like you can write the record right now.
Yeah. I mean, one of them is that we do want students in the grades to be involved. That's like the whole point of having the council, but I feel like that's kind of overlooked most of the time.
Yeah, I do wish we had more like people and students interested in like coming to watch the meetings, because all the meetings are open to anyone who wants to attend and ask questions or like give their ideas. I wish more students would like talk to their representatives about stuff that they'd like to see. And I feel like the reason we aren't really seeing that is just because like they don't, like they know but they don't really know. We've talked about it, but it's not like something that they've really been able to see yet.
Well, I mean, from where I've sat, I've been really impressed with the number of things that the student council has already taken on, especially for being in an inaugural year where there's a lot of just organization and figuring out. I've been impressed. Some of the things you've already mentioned just stand out in my mind, like the Pen Pal program and Bridging the Gap. I just think those are really, really good.
Yeah, I would just second that. I mean, thinking about in all seriousness, when you put it all in perspective and think about you guys, most of the officers being made up of seniors, and I think your emphasis is right, because, you know, senior year, thinking about senior tutorial and all the work that, you know, you're pioneering something, that you're building a tradition for the school at the same time that you're doing what every other senior has done coming through.
Applying for colleges.
Right.
There's a lot that pull away your attention.
And then you're thinking about, right, not only just the logistics of it, but then the managing of other members and committees and getting things moving and communication and working. And so, yeah, thank you for all the sort of work that you guys have really put in. It's, like I said, you're certainly laying seeds for further council groups to come through and really have something to build off of.
Yeah.
And you had to put up with me all year. Well, both of us really. So we didn't mention, probably because of our little, and that's probably really appropriate, just as the very little role we played in doctorship. There is the faculty advisor, and their role is only so far as I think to advise, but we certainly have had our fair
I think I should be giving the kudos to you, Mr.
No, not at all. Our fair share of whether it be missed meeting or certainly trying to coordinate other things. But you guys have been great, keeping us in the loop and on the ball with things.
I feel like as much as I've had to put up with you, you've had to put up with me, so it evens out.
You guys are planning your first ever on your own. Well, I guess you obviously planned one for representatives in the fall, but now planning your first ever officer elections this spring. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yes. So it is currently campaign week.
All right.
We tried to advertise it as much as we could last week, though we didn't get a lot of interested students, but we do have at least 2, I think,
per role.
Running per position. So it will be a little bit of a competition.
Yeah, that's good.
I am excited to see what some of the students do for their campaign. And hoping that we get some fun stuff going on.
Oh yeah. Like I'm looking forward to like in the movies, you know, where they're selling pens. I think that would be cool.
I want a pin.
I do.
Give me a pin.
Yeah. Well, I voted stickers. I think that would be fun. But I'm interested in hearing the speeches, honestly. I hope someone gives a speech.
So maybe you could tell us a little bit. How does that process work? So I want to run for president or vice president. What's that process
just class representative. I want to run for something. What do I do?
Yeah.
So you'll have to wait for us to put the Google form out, and then you'll have a deadline that you have to like meet by filling the form out, and it's usually just like, what's your name, what's your grade, what position are you interested in, and why. And then after that, you kind of get vetted by administration, and you need the approval for homeroom teacher, and there are a couple like grade requirements and disciplinary requirements, but they're pretty easy to get. We haven't really had to turn anyone away. And then you basically have the opportunity to like give speeches during homeroom, during advisory and lunch. We did say that if you're gonna pass out like memorabilia, like pins or something like that, you have to wait till advisory and lunch just to not disrupt class time. And we also are giving them the opportunity to like make posters and stuff that they can hang up as long as they have like the permission of the teacher whose classroom it is. So we have like some pretty fun students running, so I think we'll get some cool stuff. We got a lot for the representative elections at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, very good.
Is this an okay time to confess? I still have my vote for William Garner.
I do too. It's in my locker.
box.
It's in my locker.
I'm so upset that I didn't get one of those.
Yes,
I
still
love
have
it.
mine.
I have my Garner for the people.
I
Yeah.
ate my food that was located in it, but I still cut the box. It was useful.
So is anybody practicing the Napoleon Dynamite dance? I've got to ask.
Oh my gosh, no. But
That you
last
know
year,
of.
yeah, last year there was vote for Pedro signs up for, I think it was Paloma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
It was amazing. I loved that so much.
Well, hopefully we can strike a beautiful blend of fun and seriousness, and I look forward to seeing beautiful things from the student council next year. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining the podcast, and thank you even more for the work of the council. It is really exciting to see students taking ownership of the direction of the school and caring about the cultivation of the school, its culture, its mission, and promoting, as the Constitution says, friendship, service. This is really beautiful, and again, I'm just really excited about the work y'all have done, and I'm sure we all share a curiousness about just what happens with your legacy. This, as Mr. Battaglia said, these seeds that you've planted this year. All right, time to draw to a close.
Alrighty.
Listeners, we'll look forward to seeing you again for a future episode of Honoring the Honorable, where we talk about all things Seven Oaks and call attention to things that we think people might be interested in knowing about. Student council certainly fits the bill. All right. Till next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you for listening to Honoring the Honorable, a Seven Oaks podcast.